My dear Capricorn, I see you. I see what you have been carrying. I see the weight you have been holding for so many people, for so many years, that some part of you has forgotten what it feels like to put it down. I want to start this video by telling you something I have wanted to say to my Capricorn clients for a long time. You do not have to keep being responsible for everyone else's lives. June is the month the universe asks you, gently and then less gently, to come home to yourself. On June 9th, at 12:55 in the afternoon Pacific Time, Venus and Jupiter, the two most generous planets in the entire zodiac, meet in an exact conjunction at 25 degrees of Cancer in your 7th house of partnership. 21 days later, on June 30th at 1:51 in the morning Eastern Time, the full moon perfects at 8 degrees of Capricorn, your sign, in your own first house. This is the moment of the year your own emotional life crystallizes. And that same evening, just hours earlier, Jupiter walks out of Cancer and crosses into Leo and your 8th house of joint money, shared resources, intimacy, and deep transformation. 3 life-changing astrological events compressed into a single night. I am Madame Aurora, 35 years studying the stars from my office in Manhattan. And I want to be honest with you, my dear Capricorn, because honesty is what your sign respects more than any other. June is one of the most layered, demanding, and quietly transformative months of your year. It is not a loud month. It is a deep month, the kind of month where the most important shifts happen underneath the surface of your life, not in the headlines. Stay with me, because what I am about to share will reshape how you walk through the second half of 2026. Before I take you any further, I want to acknowledge something. Capricorn is the most underestimated sign when it comes to emotional life. The world sees you as serious, ambitious, capable, reliable. The world rarely sees how much you actually feel underneath that. You have spent your whole life carrying things. For your family, for your partner, for your children, for your career, for your community. And rarely have you allowed yourself to be the one carried. 2026 is the year that begins to shift. Your ruling planet Saturn has been sitting in your 4th house of home, family, mother, and emotional foundation since February. Saturn is doing the slow, structural work of rebuilding your foundation from the inside out. June is the month one piece of that foundation becomes visible. The Capricorn full moon on June 30th is your annual personal peak. Your own emotional life crystallizes for one night. Use it. But first, let me tell you about Elizabeth. Elizabeth is a Capricorn client of mine from Boston, born in early January, who came to me in the spring of 2014. 12 years ago, the last time Jupiter prepared to enter Leo. Elizabeth was 50 then. She had spent 25 years as a senior partner at a law firm, mother of 3 grown children, married for 28 years to a man who had become more roommate than partner, and the eldest, daughter responsible for her aging parents. She came to me one afternoon and said, "Aurora, my life looks impressive from outside. Inside, I feel like a hostel everyone passes through but no one stays in. I have been the reliable one for so long I do not know what I actually want anymore." I looked at her chart and I said, "Elizabeth, my darling, Jupiter is about to enter your 8th house for 13 months. The 8th house is the house of deep transformation, of intimacy, of shared resources, of what we share with another and what we hide. Many Capricorns finds transit difficult because Capricorn does not naturally surrender control. And the 8th house is the house of surrender. But if you do the work this transit asks for, you will be a different person on the other side. You will know what intimacy actually is, not just what reliability is." Elizabeth listened. She started therapy for the first time in her life. 2 months into the Jupiter transit, she discovered something she had not known about her family of origin. A piece of her father's history that explained patterns she had been living unconsciously. She brought it to her husband and asked him to do couples therapy with her. He agreed. The therapy did not save the marriage in the way she expected. By the end of the Jupiter transit, they had separated amicably, recognizing that they had built a partnership of 2 reliable people who did not actually share an inner life. But Elizabeth had something she had never had, a real understanding of who she was beneath the reliability. 2 years later, she met someone new in a way she could never have predicted, through a grief group she joined after her father died. Today, 12 years later, she is married to that person, retired from law, runs a small consulting practice, and tells me every year at Christmas that the Jupiter in 8th house transit of 2014 and 2015 was the most important year of her adult life, because it forced her to discover she had an inner life that needed tending. The same kind of work is now arriving for many of you, my dear Capricorn. Now, before I take you any further, my darling, I want to pause for just a moment. If what I am sharing is landing for you, If Elizabeth's story made you recognize something in yourself, even for a second, tap that little like button just below this video. It is a tiny gesture, but it tells YouTube to bring this kind of guidance to more Capricorn souls who are quietly carrying too much tonight. So many Capricorns are running on empty and looking for permission to come home to themselves. Your like helps them find this video, and if you are not yet subscribed, this is the moment. June has so many specific dates, and July is when Jupiter really begins its work in your 8th house. Turn on the bell while you are there. I publish every month, first week, and I am going to walk you through the entire Jupiter in 8th house transit. You are not navigating this alone. Now let me show you what is actually happening in your chart this June. Here is the month, transit by transit. June opens on the 1st with a full moon at 17.5 degrees of Sagittarius, falling in your 12th house of the spiritual, the hidden, the subconscious, the behind the scenes. The 12th house full moon is the most introspective full moon of your year. For some of you, June 1st brings a dream that reveals something important. For some, an inner work breakthrough, a therapy session that lands deeply, a meditation that produces a clarity, a memory that surfaces from childhood. For some, June 1st brings a quiet ending, a private chapter closes, an old grief finally completes, a long-held resentment releases. The 12th house full moon is square Saturn and Neptune in your 4th house of home and family, which means the inner clarity that arrives on June 1st may have to do with your family of origin. Pay attention to what surfaces. Things to do: sleep more than usual the first week. Journal. Spend time alone. Address what your inner life is asking of you. Things not to do. Do not have a difficult family conversation on June 1st itself. The Sagittarius moon is too philosophical, too provocative under that aspect. Wait 3 days before any deep family discussion. Then comes the day, my darling. June 9th. At 12:55 in the afternoon Pacific time, Venus joins Jupiter at 25 degrees 46 minutes of Cancer, in your 7th house. The 7th house, for a Capricorn, is the house of one-on-one partnership, marriage, business partnership, contracts. The person who completes you and challenges you. Venus is the queen of love and value. Jupiter is the king of expansion and luck. The two of them meeting in your 7th house is one of the most fortunate partnership alignments of your year. For partnered Capricorns, June 9th is a relationship peak, a defining conversation, a formalization, an engagement, a vow renewal. A shared decision that has been waiting for months suddenly becomes obvious. For single Capricorns, June 9th often brings a meaningful new connection, frequently through a serious context, a professional setting, a long-term colleague who becomes more, an introduction through a respected friend, a connection that begins as practical and becomes personal. For Capricorns in business partnership, June 9th often delivers a contract, an agreement, a co-founder commitment, a deal that has been negotiating for months. The universe is dressing your partnership house in gold for one afternoon plan toward it. But here is what I have to tell you, my darling, because I would not be an honest astrologer if I did not. June 9th is the last full bloom of Jupiter in your 7th house. The transit has been running since June of 2025, and for the past year you have been receiving its gifts. Partnership expansion, business deals, marriage opportunities, contract growth. The window closes on June 29th when Jupiter leaves Cancer. So whatever partnership conversation you have been postponing, June is the month to have it. Whatever proposal you have been considering, June is the month to make it or receive it. After June 29th, the focus shifts from partnership formation to the deeper work that happens once partnership has been formed. Joint resources, shared intimacy, financial entanglement, the deepest psychological work of being truly merged with another. Different territory. Wait, before I continue, I need to interrupt myself because there is something happening just a few days after June 9th that almost every Capricorn overlooks. On June 14th, at 10:54 in the evening Eastern Time, a new moon perfects at 24 degrees of Gemini, in your 6th house of work, health, daily routine, and service. New moons begin chapters. This particular one is asking you to begin a new chapter in how you take care of yourself daily. I want to say something specific here, my darling. Capricorn is the sign most likely to neglect this house. You are the sign of long-term goals, big achievements, structural ambitions. The 6th house is the sign of small daily repetitive maintenance, drinking water, sleeping enough, stretching, going to the dentist, refilling the prescription, eating real food, walking, the unglamorous work of staying alive in a body that supports you. Many Capricorns sacrifice the 6th house for the 10th house. You give up daily care to chase career milestones. The new moon of June 14th is the universe asking you to stop, to build a new daily rhythm, to begin a wellness practice, to address what your body has been quietly asking for. And there is one more thing about the June 14th new moon. It is squared by Saturn and Neptune in your 4th house, which means the daily life decision you make in mid-June will have a home and family component. The new wellness practice will require time away from family responsibilities. The new work schedule will require renegotiating with your partner or your children. The new health protocol will require asking for support from people who are used to you being the supporter. Be willing to ask. Saturn-Neptune in your 4th house all year is teaching you, slowly, to receive from your family instead of always giving. 3 days after the new moon, on June 17th, Mars leaves Taurus and enters Gemini. Mars in Gemini sits in your 6th house, joining the work and health energy. Mars in your 6th house often brings work momentum. A project takes off, a daily task that has been stuck moves forward, a health practice that has been gentle becomes vigorous. Mars stays in your 6th house through August 11th, giving you almost 2 full months of fire in your daily life. Use it for what matters. Be careful not to overwork. Mars in the 6th has a tendency to push Capricorns past sustainable pace. On June 19th, my darling, something deeply healing begins. Chiron, the wounded healer, enters Taurus and your 5th house of romance, creativity, children, joy, and play. For 7 years, until April of 2033, Chiron will sit in your 5th house healing wounds, about pleasure, about play, about whether you are allowed to enjoy your life. Many Capricorns carry quiet wounds in this area. You were taught from very young that responsibility came before pleasure. That play was for after the work was done, and the work was never done. Some of you have a complicated relationship with creativity. You have artistic impulses you have suppressed for decades because they did not fit the practical life you were building. Some of you have a complicated relationship with children, your own, or the question of having had them, or the way you parented them, or the way you were parented yourself. Chiron in your 5th house, slowly, over 7 years, heals all of that. June 19th is the day the healing begins. Notice what surfaces about pleasure, play, and creativity this month. The healing has started. Then, on June 29th, 2 enormous things happen on the same day. Mercury stations retrograde at 26 degrees of Cancer, in your 7th house. And Jupiter leaves Cancer and walks into Leo and your 8th house. 2 major transit events on the same day, my darling. June 29th is the portal of your year so far. I want to slow down here, because I need to explain Jupiter in your 8th house properly. The 8th house is one of the most misunderstood houses in astrology. Most astrologers will tell you it is the house of difficult things: death, debt, taxes, intimacy, hidden material, psychological transformation. They are not wrong. The 8th house does govern those things. But for a Capricorn specifically, Jupiter in your 8th house is one of the most quietly powerful transits of your decade. Because Capricorn is the sign that struggles most with the 8th house. You are the sign of control, of structure, of standing on your own. The 8th house is the sign of merger, surrender, depth, things you cannot fully control. Jupiter in your 8th house for 13 months is the universe asking you to learn how to share, financially, emotionally, intimately, in ways that go deeper than the practical merger of running a household together. Here is what to expect over the 13 months. First effect, joint financial matters open in expansive ways. A loan is approved that you did not expect. A refinance comes through favorably. A tax refund arrives that surprises you. An inheritance is processed. A settlement closes. A business buyout happens. A partner's income increases and changes the financial structure of your household. The 8th house under Jupiter often delivers money from outside of you. Money that comes through partnership, family, institution, or unexpected source. Second effect, intimacy deepens. For partnered Capricorns, the relationship may go through a phase of deeper emotional and physical intimacy than you have experienced in years. For single Capricorns who are working on intimacy with a new partner, this transit accelerates that work. Third effect, psychological work intensifies. Therapy, somatic work, trauma healing, deep self-examination all become more available, more fertile, more transformative. Fourth effect, hidden material comes to the surface to be released. Some Capricorns will discover family secrets in this transit. Some will discover hidden financial information about a partner. Some will face material from their own past they have been avoiding. Whatever surfaces, it is surfacing so it can be transformed. I want to be honest with you about one more thing. The 8th house is also the house of endings. Some partnerships do not survive a Jupiter in 8th house transit. Not because Jupiter is unkind, but because the transit demands honesty at a depth that some partnerships cannot sustain. If your partnership is built on real intimacy, this transit deepens it. If it is built on performance, Jupiter may help you see that. Be prepared for clarity, in either direction. Clarity is always a gift, even when it is uncomfortable. Pause for just one moment, my darling. I know this is a lot. I have been putting hours into this video, researching the exact degrees, the exact times, the way the transits actually land on a Capricorn chart. Because you deserve real guidance, not generic horoscopes. If this is bringing you value, would you do me 3 small things? Like this video. It tells YouTube this matters. Subscribe and turn on the bell if you have not yet. July's video will cover the Mercury retrograde days in detail, the first month of Jupiter in your 8th house, and the early signals of the August 12th eclipse on your career sector. 3 write to me in the comments. Even 1 sentence. Other Capricorns in this comment section are reading and recognizing themselves. We are becoming a community now. Thousands of Capricorns all awake to the year ahead. Come be part of it. Now let me continue. The Mercury retrograde context, my darling. Mercury stations retrograde at 26 degrees of Cancer. Shas 7th house, the very house Jupiter is leaving. So as Jupiter walks out of your partnership house and into your shared resources house, Mercury asks you to look back at the 7th house once more before moving on. Old partners may resurface. An ex reaches out, an old business partner reconnects, an old contract demands review. Old partnership patterns may surface for examination. Conversations you had with your current partner months ago may need to be revisited. Mercury retrograde in your 7th house is the universe's way of making sure the partnership chapter is properly complete before you move into the deeper chapter of shared life. Do not sign a partnership contract on June 29th or 30th. Do not finalize a divorce. Do not commit to a new long-term partnership formally. Review what is unfinished from the past year. Complete it, then move into July ready for the new depth. The full moon on June 30th at 8 degrees 14 minutes of Capricorn falls in your own 1st house. This is your annual personal full moon, my darling. It happens once a year, and it is the moment your own emotional life crystallizes most clearly. Whatever you have been quietly building in yourself since the new moon in Capricorn of January 19th is reaching its peak. Some Capricorns will look at themselves in the mirror on June 30th and recognize someone they have not been before. Some will make a major personal decision. Some will end a chapter of their own life and begin a new one. The Capricorn full moon, combined with the Jupiter ingress just hours before and the Mercury retrograde the day before, makes the final week of June one of the most concentrated weeks of your year. Sleep extra, drink water, move slowly, and honor your own emotional life on June 30th. You are usually the one honoring everyone else's. This night is yours. I want to stop for a moment, my darling, because I know I have been giving you a lot. Let me make it simple. 3 dates to remember. June 9th, your partnership peak. June 14th, your daily life reset. June 29th and 30th, the portal and your own full moon. Those 3 dates are the spine of your month. Everything else is texture. Let me give you the week-by-week breakdown briefly. First week, June 1st through 7th. The Sagittarius full moon opens your 12th house. Spend time alone. Address what surfaces. Mars is still in Taurus through the 17th, sitting in your 5th house, giving you steady creative and romantic energy. Second week, June 8th through 14th. The magical week. June 9th is your partnership peak. June 14th new moon in your 6th house begins a daily life chapter. Address both. Third week, June 15th through 21st. Mars enters your 6th house on the 17th, bringing work and health momentum. Chiron enters your 5th house on the 19th, beginning 7 years of pleasure and play healing. The Sun enters Cancer on the 21st, lighting up your 7th house for the final week of Jupiter's transit there. Fourth week, June 22nd through 30th. The Portal Week. June 29th, Mercury retrograde, Jupiter changes signs. June 30th, your own Capricorn full moon. What to do? Write down before June 29th every shared resource and intimacy dream you have. The joint financial matters you want to resolve. The deeper intimacy you want to build with your partner. The therapy work you want to undertake. The financial settlement you want to finalize. Jupiter needs raw material when it walks into your 8th house. Give it a list. What not to do. Do not sign a contract on June 29th or 30th. Do not formalize a partnership decision that day. Wait until late July when Mercury is direct. But before I move to your area-by-area forecast, I need to interrupt myself one more time and tell you something difficult. Because there is a shadow side to the Jupiter in 8th house transit. And I would not be honest with you if I did not name it. Let me tell you about Patricia. Patricia was a Capricorn client of mine from Chicago, born in early January, who came to me in 2015, halfway through the previous Jupiter in Leo cycle, when Jupiter was sitting in her 8th house. Patricia had had a beautiful early Jupiter 8th house transit. She had received an unexpected inheritance from a great aunt she had barely known. The inheritance was modest but meaningful. She had also, with that money, finally been able to pay off some debt and feel secure for the first time in years. By all measures, the transit was being good to her. But Patricia made a Capricorn mistake, and I have seen this pattern in many of you. She used the financial security to avoid the deeper psychological work the 8th house was also asking for. She told herself she did not need therapy because she now had money. She told herself her marriage was fine, because she could now afford to ignore the parts that were not working. She used the 8th house gift on the surface and refused the 8th house invitation underneath. By the time Jupiter left her 8th house in August of 2015, the surface security was real, but the marriage had quietly collapsed and the family relationships had grown more distant. She came back to see me in 2017 and said, "Aurora, I took the money and ignored the work. I have to do the work now anyway, and it is harder without Jupiter's help. My dear Capricorn, please hear this. Jupiter in your 8th house will likely bring financial expansion in the next 13 months. Receive it. Be grateful. But do not let the financial expansion be the only thing you take from the transit. The deeper work, the intimacy, the inner life examination, the surrender of control, is the real harvest. The money is the surface. Do both. The Capricorns who do both arrive at 2027 transformed at the level of the soul. The Capricorns who do only the surface arrive at 2027 richer, but still locked out of their own depth. Let me walk you through each area of your life now, briefly. Love and relationships. The Venus-Jupiter conjunction on June 9th is the partnership peak. The June 14th new moon in your 6th house affects love through daily shared life. The small habits, the routines together. The Jupiter ingress to your 8th house on June 29th begins 13 months of deeper intimate work. For partnered Capricorns, the second half of the year deepens what you have built. For single Capricorns, the 8th house Jupiter is not the meeting transit. It is the work with an existing partner transit. The shadow date for love is June 29th itself. No major partnership conversations that day. Career and work. The June 14th new moon in your 6th house and Mars entering your 6th house on the 17th bring work momentum. The Pluto in Aquarius work in your 2nd house all year continues to reshape what you value and what you charge. The Saturn-Neptune work in your 4th house affects career through your relationship with home. Many Capricorns are renegotiating the balance between professional ambition and personal foundation. Money. The big story is the Jupiter ingress to your 8th house on June 29th. Joint money, inheritance, settlements, loans, refinances, partner's income, business partnership earnings all become more active for 13 months. The Pluto in your 2nd house continues the long, deep transformation of your personal income. What you charge, what you value, what you believe you deserve. Health. The Mars entry into your 6th house on June 17th brings physical energy and the risk of overdoing. Chiron entering your 5th house on June 19th also begins healing the relationship between pleasure and health. Many Capricorns struggle with allowing themselves enough rest, enough joy, enough play to keep the body functioning well. The Saturn in your 4th house all year asks you to take care of the body that comes from your family of origin's habits and patterns, home and family. Saturn-Neptune in your 4th house is the dominant story of the year. The full moon on June 1st in your 12th house may bring family-related inner clarity. The Capricorn full moon on June 30th in your own 1st house brings your relationship with yourself, which always includes your family of origin, to a peak. Now, my darling, take out your journal and your favorite pen. I want to give you a ritual you can do on June 30th, the night of the Capricorn full moon, your annual personal peak. This is one of the most important inner work nights of your year, and it is uniquely yours. The full moon perfects at 1:51 in the morning Eastern Time on June 30th, 10:51 in the evening. Pacific Time on June 29th, 6:51 in the morning London Time on June 30th, and 7:51 in the morning Central European Time on June 30th. Wherever you are, do the ritual on the night of June 30th, after sunset. Find a quiet, grounded space. The kitchen table is good. A reading corner is good. Outside under the moon is best, if weather and life allow. Light a single charcoal gray candle and a single dark green candle. Gray is your color, slate, stone, the color of mountains. Dark green is the color of deep earth. Place a piece of onyx, garnet, or obsidian beside them, your stones. burn cedar, vetiver, or frankincense. If you do not have these, any candle and any earthy scent will work. The ritual matters more than the props. Sit. Take 7 slow breaths. Then say, out loud, 3 times, I welcome my own emotional life. I welcome who I am underneath all of my responsibilities. I welcome the version of me that is allowed to be seen. 3 times. Slowly, open your journal. Write the date. Then write the answers to these 5 questions, slowly, with the honesty Capricorn can manage when no one is watching. Question 1. What am I no longer willing to be responsible for, that I have been responsible for too long? Question 2. Who in my life needs to learn how to function without my carrying them? And how can I, gently, start to release them? Question 3. What version of my own emotional life have I been postponing, because I told myself I would feel things later? When is later? Question 4. Over the next 12 months, until my next Capricorn full moon, what is the foundation I want to have built inside myself, separate from what I am building for everyone else? Question 5. When this full moon returns to my sign in July of 2027, who do I want to have become? Sit with each answer. Do not rush. Do not tidy. Capricorns have a particular relationship with making things look right. This ritual is not for looking right. It is for being honest. Then place both hands on your heart and say 3 times, slowly, I am allowed to be carried. I am allowed to receive. I am allowed to belong to myself. 3 times. Let both candles burn down. Sit with what arises. This is your night, my darling. The work has begun. Let me speak briefly about rising signs, moon signs, and Venus signs. If your rising is also Capricorn, the Capricorn full moon on June 30th hits your ascendant, the most personally visible full moon of your year. If your rising is Aquarius, Jupiter ingress to your 7th house in late June begins partnership expansion. If your rising is Pisces, Saturn and Neptune left your sign in February, relief. If your rising is Aries, Saturn Neptune in your sign, the slow identity work. If your rising is Taurus, Chiron enters your sign in June, 7 years of personal healing. If your rising is Gemini, Uranus enters your sign, the once-in-84-year personal revolution. If your rising is Cancer, Jupiter has been in your sign and leaves to enter your 2nd house. If your rising is Leo, Jupiter enters your sign in late June, your once-in-12 years renaissance. If your rising is Virgo, Jupiter enters your 12th house, preparing you for your big year. If your rising is Libra, Jupiter has been in your 10th and enters your 11th in late June. If your rising is Scorpio, Jupiter enters your 10th house, career elevation. If your rising is Sagittarius, Jupiter enters your 9th house, your sign, foreign expansion. If your moon is in Capricorn, the full moon of June 30th lands on your moon, the deepest emotional reset of your year. If your moon is in Cancer, the Venus-Jupiter conjunction on June 9th lands on your moon. If your moon is in Gemini, the new moon on June 14th lands on your moon. If your moon is in Sagittarius, the full moon on June 1st lands on your moon. If your moon is in Leo, Jupiter enters your moon's sign at month's end. If your Venus is in Cancer, the Venus-Jupiter conjunction on June 9th happens directly on your Venus, your luckiest love and partnership day in 12 years. If your Venus is in Capricorn, the full moon of June 30th lands on your Venus, a personal Venus reset. If your Venus is in Leo, romance expansion begins at month's end as Jupiter enters your 8th house. Compatibility. The 3 signs most aligned with you in June are Taurus, Virgo, and Cancer. Taurus because the fellow Earth signs trine yours, and Chiron enters Taurus in June. A Taurus voice will say something to you that begins a long healing. Virgo because the Earth trine continues. Virgos offer steady, reliable support throughout the year and the practical wisdom you respect. Cancer because Jupiter spends most of the month in Cancer in your 7th house. Cancers in your life will appear as partners, allies, supporters in ways that are unusually warm. Be careful with Aries, where Saturn and Neptune now live in your 4th house. Aries family members or authority figures may bring tension. Be patient with Libra, where the slow planets work in opposition to your home sector. Libra relatives or close ones may make sudden decisions. And be diplomatic with Gemini, where the Mars and new moon activate your work and health sector. Gemini colleagues may behave unpredictably in late June. The sign that will surprise you, my dear Capricorn, Pisces. The exit of Saturn and Neptune from Pisces means Pisces people in your life are emerging from heavy years. And the Pisces who reach out to you in June often bring soft, healing energy you did not expect to need. Receive it. My dear Capricorn, before I let you go, 3 small things I want to say. 1. If any part of this video has brought you clarity, even one date, even one sentence, tap that like button. It is the simplest way to tell YouTube to bring this work to more Capricorn souls who need it tonight. So many Capricorns are quietly carrying too much. Your like helps them find this video. 2. Subscribe and turn on the bell. Next month's forecast will cover the Mercury retrograde days in detail, the first month of Jupiter in your 8th house, the early 8th house gifts that often arrive in July, and the lead up to the August 12th eclipse on Jupiter, possibly the most significant financial date of your decade. You do not want to miss it. 3. Write to me in the comments. My question for you tonight is this. What is the responsibility you have been carrying for someone else that you are finally ready to release? Gently, gradually, but really. Just one sentence. Other Capricorns in this comment section are reading these words and recognizing themselves. We are building a community here, and you are part of it. I read every single comment. Truly. And one more small thing. If you know another Capricorn who has been carrying too much, share this video with them. You may not realize how much one share matters. It is how this work finds the Capricorn who need it. Thank you, my darling. This community is becoming something I never expected, and you are part of it. June 9th, June 14th, June 29th, and 30th. Write the dates down. The stars are with you. You are allowed to be carried too. You are allowed to come home to yourself. The universe is finally asking you to. I am Madame Aurora from Manhattan, and I love you, my dear Capricorn. I will see you in July.